There is no God or there is no master capable of helping us. Even the best masters will fail if we don't know how to utilize time. Are we utilizing? There are some very beautiful and profound spiritual messages we can learn from Ganesha that are universal in their appeal. Let me share with you. When you look at Ganesha, we all feel tremendous joy and happiness just by looking at the statue, the Murti. Whether you are religious or not, it is a natural response to smile when you see this image. That is the first message of Ganesha. Be joyful. As, after all, only joy attracts grace. Can you imagine you remain sad? Can God come in communication with you? And even if He showers grace, will you be able to possess it and be one with it? No. So, joyful state is required even for God to bestow something on us. When you look at Ganesha, you feel that joy is radiating from him. We refer to him and his life to teach values such as having such a large ears and a small mouth. They too represent something very great. Listen more and talk less. What does he represent? He has an animal face of an elephant, a human body, and a divine function. Isn't that the journey of spirituality? Where we move from animal level to human level to divine in our nature. The sophisticated Murti of Ganesha is like three-dimensional infographics, detailing the spiritual journey and beyond, starting from the animal level to a state beyond Anandam. How to portray a state beyond bliss, where the very individual is no longer there in the form of consciousness to interact with non-bliss. We have animalistic, instinctive tendencies that are associated with living in a physical body as a part of the animal kingdom. Through developing our capacities to love, to accept, to understand, and to forgive, we become human, transcending the baser tendencies. As the journey continues, our existence slowly becomes divinized so that we transcend even our humanness so that we can merge with the ultimate. In that state, the animal, human, and divine are integrated in the form of divinized being. Ganesha symbolizes this journey. He represents the possibility that exists for all of us. Now comes the mouse. Why should a big person like Ganesha be riding a tiny mouse? Here is a teaching that tells us the most fundamental principle of evolutionary life, progressive life. Our journey is all about expansion of our consciousness, and there it requires the refinement of our subtle bodies. Subtle bodies means Chit, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar. Ahankar, especially as our ego is refined, the qualities of humility, innocence, simplicity, and purity, they sign out in our behavior as we are able to externalize the subtlest of spiritual conditions. Ganesha Murti shows us this so beautifully and so simply. We need to make our ego so light, so refined, that even a mouse can carry us. He represents that carefree, joyful state of surrender, where the ego is lighter and utilized for universal and divine purpose. So we have joy, happiness, integration of animal, human, and divine, and the mouse, the lightness of a pure and humble ego. What a combination! No wonder Ganesha is loved by all. Well, in the beginning, outside Sahajmarg, people think of the form just to crystallize their thoughts on one idea. But then they remain with the form. Which form will you think of up on which you can meditate? All are unreal form, all are our imagination. So whichever form you try to meditate upon will always remain imaginary. So imaginary cannot lead you to real. So it's best to accept God, I don't know whether you are there at all or not. So we begin with this hypothesis that God is there in my heart in the form of light. Light we assume because it is the subtlest form, light. But when true experience arises in the heart, it is lighter than the light. Light also is too heavy when compared to the original state. But since there is no other better expression of that subtle condition, we assume that we are meditating on the presence of the divine light. Moment you try to see, you are giving a form, luminosity. Then when you think of luminosity, then other problem starts. Yellow, blue, green. So we don't think in the form of luminosity. Ours is an assumption. It's a beautiful way of suppose there is God. Or you begin with suppose also. But many people who don't believe in God, okay, suppose there is no God. Meditate on the idea of no God in your heart and see where it takes you. You don't have to worship the Guru. Be a friend, a real friend, and meditate with him. And later on, a stage may come in your life where you realize the divinity in the master. Then the actual journey will start. Till then, it's like traveling together as two friends. And suddenly there is a change. Each moment should be regretted upon if that moment is lost without the remembrance of the Lord. For a true spiritual seeker, such moments are very precious. Imagine if you are a businessman and daily you have income of, let us say, 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores every day. At the end of the year, you accumulate so much of wealth. Imagine the worst days when you don't have such income and say, oh, today it's only 10 lakhs. Next day only minus 10 lakhs. And life goes on like that. See? All in minus, 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 minus every day. What will happen to the end of the year? Disaster. So what matters? What makes this entire year's productivity or profitability is how we use each day. This uses of year, you can say using of time, how well we use this time element. Some people make so much that you cannot even make in 10 lives, just in one day. Jokingly, they said that when Bill Gates was walking on Manhattan Street and from his jacket pocket dropped $1 on the floor, he didn't have to bend down to pick up that dollar. Because doing that much, within that much frame, he has already made $30,000 without doing anything. Why am I giving example from the business world? Is to make us all understand the significance of this time, each moment. We should not consider so much, oh, what would I achieve at the end of my life? It's a whole entire goal, see. Then wiser people break it down into a year. But people like Babuji Maharaj would say each moment is important. How at each moment I identify myself with. Lord Krishna in Gita also puts it a bit differently. He says to Arjun, he reveals the secret of himself. He says, Kalos me, meaning I am time. Things happens within this, cannot happen outside. So when he himself has declared The Lord is time. So if you want to take his help, we have to make use of the time very well. See, badly utilized time and partying, doing terrible things is only drain us. It would dissipate our resources, which are so limited. We have time-wise, we have a limited life frame. Philosophically speaking, there is no moment like now. What most philosophers say is, live in the now. Before you even recognize that now, it has already gone. Years will pass, lives will pass, yugas will pass. But as Babuji says, with the right attitude, one can achieve the highest, just like a man as he turns his head from here to here and achieves or gains the final ultimate. And according to him, this is possible only when you have the right attitude. At that moment of right attitude, where right thinking, right understanding, your wisdom, all your subtle bodies come together in resonance, in unison, and your heart cries out for the Lord that I like to realize you, I must realize you. That moment can become a pregnant moment full of possibilities of realizing the ultimate. Many people may ask, what then next? We should worry about the next, what happens after realization later on. First, achieve this moment of realization and see what happens after that. See? Then all moments would be the same moments of opportunities of expanding in other higher levels. There is no God or there is no master capable of helping us. Even the best masters will fail if we don't know how to utilize time. Are we utilizing? I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. You all know it very well how we utilize our time. We are all wise people. We are all hungry for realizing that I know first. Let's increase a little bit more, some more efforts in this direction. We have been doing so much for such a long time. Give it one more shot with a different attitude, with lesser ego, finer intellect, refined thinking, and above all, love for each other, respect for each other, being empathetic towards each other, and creating a real brotherhood. See, the dreams Babuji Maharaj would have, he would have put it in simple words. Let this world become the brighter world, so that the lighter beings from above would be tempted to visit such places like Earth. Oh, let's visit Earth, it is brighter than the brighter world. But that is possible only if we use each moment wisely, with love towards each other.
Is destiny fixed or refined each time heart and mind align? The next video goes deeper.